Hello, and thank you for joining me here today. I've invited you here because the world is changing. I've invited you here because business is changing. I've invited you here because the business of accounting is changing. Now, the business world and the business of accounting was changing anyway. Change was happening and has been happening for a number of years. Technological advances are accelerating the rate of change all the time. And while some accountants may have braced change, the accountancy profession is not incredibly well known for making change. Coronavirus and the crisis that it has created is a tragedy. There's no other way to describe it. Looking at the economic reports from the Irish and UK governments and their projections of what is going to happen here, yes, stimulus packages are going to improve things, but nobody can ever take away the loss of life. The people who've lost loved ones. Nobody can reverse that type of a loss. The hardship, the economic hardship with so many people out of work. You know and I know businesses are not going to open their doors after this. And the businesses who do open the doors, yes, there are people who are soaring during coronavirus. What type of businesses are soaring during coronavirus? Well, there's certain niches are soaring. But the businesses that are really thriving during coronavirus, and this is a global statistic, this is not me saying this is a fact. The businesses that have the capability of continuing to work and operate and interact and serve their customers online. There's other businesses who, they're not soaring, they're surviving. But they may come out of this. But will they be different? And then there are those businesses that are struggling that may never open their doors. That is a fact. That is happening. I had a conversation with my kids this morning. Any of you that have children will know that it's not only the challenges of homeschooling right now, it is the challenges of uncertainty, the challenges of fear. I did a session with our Profit Pro members last week, and I introduced Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I'm reflecting back to when I was in college in my university days, and we were looking at Maslow's hierarchy of needs as part of our management accounting. I can't even remember what topic it was, but Maslow's hierarchy of needs has never been more important. Because the fundamentals of human need are now being shaken. I watch my kids and like this morning, I had to have a conversation with them about fear. So there was an incident with a bat at the weekend where the kids were camping because like basically you're doing anything you can now to create home adventures in a home environment. And the kids were camping in the playroom and I had to shut the window because Mihal, our middle child, was afraid a bat might come in. And I said, what happens if a bat comes in? He said, but Dad, bats started this whole coronavirus thing. And we had to have another conversation this morning about fear. And getting to understand that fear is false evidence appearing real. I'm not in any way suggesting coronavirus is not real. I'm not in any way suggesting the economic hardship that is going to follow this is not real. It is real. But there's also a huge amount of fear in terms of our perceptions around that. And it's not just our perceptions, it's your customers, it's your business owners. Business owners are concerned. There's fear out there. I was on a call with business owners yesterday. Are we going to be able to save our business? Fear around letting people go. Fear, exactly, Agatha. We went through the financial crisis and we'll go through the coronavirus. But there is fear out there and we need to acknowledge. But you've got to look, what of the fear is false evidence appearing real? And what of the fear is the reality? And another thing with my kids, we're struggling here with homeschooling. We're struggling here with homeschooling, and Caroline is working out of the kitchen and I'm working out of the playroom, and we're trying to integrate homeschooling into our day. And we had a very deep conversation this morning around failure. Kieran is struggling with his maths. He's only 6. He's struggling with his maths. And I'm saying to him, he's going, I can't do this anymore. I'm not doing this. This is too hard. I don't want to do this. I want to go outside. And I'm saying, no, Kieran, Kiwi, you got to stay and do your work. And he said, but Dad, I don't want to. And I'm saying, failure. And I explained to him the 3 of them, and we had a long conversation about failure. And basically, I'm explaining to him, there's only one failure, and that's the failure to try. He went back and did his maths. And maybe it was hard, and his sister helped him and his brother helped him. But that's what's happening now. It's about helping. It's about community. It's about support. It's about progress. It's about moving forward. Here's a question for you. So wherever you're watching here, because I know we have people live on our Zoom, but we also have people on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. So wherever you're watching, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to put either in the comment box or in the chat box below, I want you to answer this question. Do you believe that business is going to be different after COVID? So into the chat box, Q&A box, yes, it will be different. 100% yes, it will be different. And you see, so our audience here is accountants. That's who I work with. That's who I have worked with for the last 17 years. I have poured my heart and soul into working with accountants because I'm driven by a passion. Some people don't understand this and don't get it. For people like my wife, it's very hard to live with, but I'm driven by a passion because I believe accountants can make a huge difference. I applaud the frontline health workers. I applaud the people who the frontline service that are keeping Ireland, the UK going at the moment. I applaud them. But I've been in the trenches with accountants since the first week of March, and I applaud you for what you have done in terms of helping your clients and your customers. Because I believe that although the medical profession are the front line, that when this is all over, accountants are going to save businesses, they're going to save livelihoods, they're going to protect jobs. Your advisory is just so important. But at the same time, working with accountants for the last 17 years, I've experienced huge frustration. And the frustration I experience is accountants overworked, accountants under too much pressure, accountants with too many non-ideal customers, accountants with earning good money. Let's be honest here. If you run an accounting firm, because we have customers who come back year after year after year, if you run an accounting firm, you have the potential to earn very good money. And you see, the world around the accountancy profession has been shifting and changing. And the business world has been shifting and changing. And yes, the accountancy profession has been innovating, but I'm not sure the accounting profession is moving as quickly as the business world around them is. And I encounter, and on an ongoing basis, I encounter accountants who are overworked, underpaid, underappreciated, and the struggles that you all know that you face. And when I talk to accountants, they say things to me like, well, we want to have more freedom, we want to have more choice, we want to have more flexibility. And you see, coronavirus is again putting that under a microscope, because right now we're not free. We're not free right now. We're cooperating with our governments to minimize the spread of coronavirus. But we are not free. There's nobody here with me, either on the live stream or the webinar, that is free right now. Our normal lives are disrupted. Our school lives, our work lives, our teams, our access to our customers, our social lives, our communities, our hobbies, our interests, sport, the great unifier. We're not free now. And when the freedom of an entire country and an entire world is threatened, that brings everything into focus. If some of you are still on the fence as to whether business is going to change, here's my take on it. So let's talk about business and let's talk about accountants and let's put the two into one, okay? So business and the business of accounting, if you're on the fence, business is going to change. Look at what's happened in the last 2 weeks. Like how many of you 8 weeks ago weren't using video calls versus how many of you are using video calls now? I don't know what the statistics are for Ireland and the UK, but what I do know is that Zoom went from 10 million users at the start of March to 300 million users by the end of it. So somebody has started doing a few more Zoom calls, WhatsApp calls, FaceTime calls. We've innovated and changed. Here's a question for you. How many of you at the start of March were working in your offices and working in your buildings? I was on a call yesterday with a group of business owners from around the world, and one of them is a commercial property specialist. And this commercial property specialist, who specializes in urban offices, has been tracking their contacts, and close to 50% of their customer stroke tenants have been in touch to assess the property market and downsizing. How many of you are remote working and working in a way that you weren't working 8 short weeks ago? That's going to drive change. Change is inevitable. But here's the thing, it's not inevitable for everybody, because I know already that there's lots of people who are working through this crisis on the basis that they're just going to go back to business as normal when it's all over. And yes, accountants will go back to business as normal, and accountants will survive as in business as normal. But do you think there's going to be more pressure? Do you think there's going to be downward pressure on fees? Do you think it's going to be more competitive out there? Do you think businesses are going to just automatically pay the exact? So I'm not talking about these thriving businesses. I'm not even talking about the accounting firms who've gone down the route of value pricing and excel at customer communication and putting the customer at the center of the relationship. But do you think this is not going to be different? It's going to be different. There's going to be downward pressure on fees. There's going to be less customers. There's going to be increased competition. And accountants are hustling harder than ever before. Has our freedom been compromised right now, right here today? And were you actually free before coronavirus started? So here's a question for you. And again, wherever you are, comment in the chat box below. Do you want more freedom, choice, and flexibility than you have and than you have had? So what's your answer? Into the chat box, what's your answer? What do you want? What do you want as a business owner? Like most of the people that are on live with me here now are accounting firm owners or senior team members. Somebody has said here, Stephen, I doubt there'll be many people who would say no. Stephen, here's the thing. Do you know the people who'd say no? The people who'd say no probably aren't here. The people who'd say no are the people who looked at this webinar and said, I'm not interested in that. And here's the thing about me. I made a decision in the last couple of weeks. Some of you will have seen this. Some of you will have seen this. Some of you will have seen me be more honest and more myself, because now is the time to be honest. Somebody commented on me and they said, Des, you know, sometimes you get really excited, you get really passionate on webinars. People are often amazed. How can you get excited about auditing, financial reporting? How can you get excited about it? How do you get so excited about it? Well, I said in the email for today, if you don't want to hear the F word, you shouldn't come on this webinar, because I'm probably going to lose the plot at some stage and use it. But here's the thing, Stephen, you're here, and everybody else who's here and is watching find it easy to answer yes to that question. And here's where the opportunity is in coronavirus. The opportunity in coronavirus is not everybody is going to see it as you do, Stephen. Not everybody is going to see it as you do, Tom. Not everybody is going to see it as you do, Pascal. Not everybody's going to see it as you do, Dermot, Mark, Linda, Grania. And you see, here's the thing. Accountants have pulled on their cape, right? If you haven't seen it, I did it the other morning where I ripped off a t-shirt and I put on my superhero cape. That's a shout out to Paul Whately for that one. Accountants are superheroes. And what have accountants done? Accountants have jumped in to serve and support. I know what that feels like because we did it. I think our team, I don't know how many webinars we ran. I don't know how many guidance documents. I don't know how many hours we invested in the month of March and April, just moving to support the profession. No money asked for, no selling. But now is the time to come back and look at your business. For us, the cutoff was the 1st of May. We'll continue to serve. We'll continue to support. We'll continue to look after our customers. We'll continue to do stuff like this. This is a free webinar. But from the 1st of May, we're treating that like New Year's Day, the first day of summer. Let's get back on track here. And let's not waste a good crisis like coronavirus to come out of this at the end. Here's a question for you. Do you want your business to just survive, or do you want your business to thrive after COVID? Into the comments below. So what do you want? Show me what you want. You see, here we go again. Thrive, Dermot, thrive, Jared, thrive, Pascal, thrive, Kieran, thrive, Daniel, excellent. To thrive, of course. So Daniel, Ray, Gary, Patricia, Damien, David, we want to thrive. Here's my question for you. What are you doing right now to ensure that your business does thrive? What are you doing right now? So we've moved to serve, right? We've moved to serve. It's obvious we all want our business to thrive. But what are you doing right now to deal with this change? To deal with this new world? And you see, I know you're tired. I know you're tired. I know it's been a tough few weeks. I know all this juggling, all this juggling of everything. It's hard. Do you know, I think of Caroline out there. I think of Caroline out there. So we've got 3 kids. Her biggest mistake was probably that she married me, right? Because I'm not an easy person to live with. What you're seeing here is what you get. I'm always on. I'm always thinking. And there's no such thing as, for me, there's no such thing as just, it's about doing things the best they can be done. So whether it's mowing our lawn, whether it's, you know, playing with the kids, whether it's playing games, I'm about realizing potential. And I look at Caroline, and there she is. We're working harder than we've ever worked before. We're working in an unusual environment. She's transitioned the team. She's minding the kids. She's cooking the dinner. She's cleaning the house. This is hard. We all want, so we all want to thrive, but we're tired right now. We're tired. It's like, when is this going to end? We know what we're going to do after lockdown. As soon as it's safe for our kids to go visit their grandparents or another family member, we're going to send them off for 2 or 3 nights. We're going to lock the gate and we're going to come in and we're just going to sit down. But you see, here again is the opportunity. Most people right now, most accounting firms are struggling. They're just serving. An awful lot of accountants serving in the hope they will get the payback. I think that's too big a risk. I think we need to think differently. We need to use this time to look at our business, restructure our business, reposition our business to take control and thrive. Now, some accountants, so I'm always walking a line here. I'm always walking a line, okay? I'm walking a line where some accountants say to me, oh, Des, you're too negative. And then other accountants say, oh, Des, you're too positive. Let's be clear about this. There's going to be opportunity in the market. Thriving is about a short game and it's about a long game. The short game is, what do we do now to survive, serve our clients, protect our existing customers, and then develop the model, the approach that's going to get the best result afterwards. Some of us are still going to experience some hardship when this is over. So some of us, depending on your customer base, depending on your evolution, maybe you're a new startup sole practitioner, maybe you're a smaller firm and you've got too many non-ideal clients and you were under cash pressure coming into this. Maybe you're a bigger firm. Like, the bigger firms aren't immune from the problems here. Look at the big four. Staff cuts, cost cuts, partner contributions. Different people are going to have different results at the end of this, but you've got to make the conscious decision. Here's another question for you. What is holding you back? What is holding your business back right now? What is holding you back from taking the steps to thrive? So this isn't a one-line answer. This, you might need to type a little bit, but I want you, wherever you are, either in the chat box if you're here on the webinar with me, if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you are, what is holding you back in your business right now? Self-belief or lack thereof. That's a challenge, because, you know, the accounting profession and the institutes, and it's not their fault, but they have trained us to be technicians. They have trained us to be managers. They have not trained us to be entrepreneurs. They have not trained us to believe in ourselves. And you see, here's something about the accounting profession, and this is something that I have suffered since the first day Miha and myself opened our doors. Because since the first day Miha and myself opened our doors 17 years ago, time and time again, we have put our head above the parapet. And when you put your head above the parapet, tall poppy syndrome. When somebody rises above and has different thinking or a different way of looking at things, the move is cut it down. Let's keep everybody in order. But you see, the accountancy profession has not instilled the belief and the confidence of us. What's holding us back? I love this one. Michael, essentially nothing. My concern is how some of my clients see themselves as being held back. You see, this is it, Michael. You just hit the nail on the head. The role of accountants is changing. Business owners are looking for leadership. Business owners want to be brought on. Business owners want to know how to work in this new world. Accountants have pulled on their capes for the last 6-7 weeks and served and given advisory and given support. Look at the reaction from your clients. Look at the reaction from your clients. How many of your clients have said thank you? Those of you that have reached out and supported, how many of your clients have said thank you? And here, let's just be clear, not all accountants are equal. Not all accountants are equal, because not everybody has reached out. Not everybody has served. Not everybody has helped. Natalie, yes, we are mentally challenged in survival mode. All of us are. We've all gone through the roller coaster. Coronavirus is real. The economic circumstances are real. Sometimes fear takes over. You've got to work out what's holding you back. You've got to work out what's holding you back. A lot of you here are saying time. Uncertainty about cash flows, looking back instead of forward, belief in myself, the fear of failure due to issues outside our control. Brilliant, Kevin. Absolutely brilliant. Because I tell you what, this is where our freedom is compromised, because there's so much that's not in our control right now. There's so much not in our control. But what we've got to focus on is what is in our control. And this is what is in our control right now. I'll be honest with you, I'm in more control of my working day and my business than ever before. Because you see, previously I was constrained to the norms of 9 to 5. I was tied to the office. Now I do my working day differently. Do you know, we've got to do, somebody said to me, they said, Des, this coronavirus is suiting you. You got a great suntan. And I got a little bit burned yesterday, because part of homeschooling is, and I don't do enough of this, so I hope they don't hear me in the other room, but part of my homeschooling duties is to do PE. If you had told me in January that come May, I would be getting up, doing work, doing concentrated work, and then going out to play football with the boys for half an hour around lunchtime every day, I would have said, no, that's not possible. I'm actually getting to spend more time with my children. Despite the pressure carrying myself under, I'm actually getting to spend, she doesn't like me talking about our marriage in public, but I think our marriage is actually better now, because we're spending time together in a different way. Now, I think our marriage is better. She'll say, well, you now empty the dishwasher and contribute around the house a bit more. But it doesn't matter. It's what are we doing? What do you want to do? There's a whole lot of stuff that's outside our control, but you can control your working day. You can control. That's what this webinar is about. Do you want to take control? Do you want to break free of, I can't even read my own writing, so that's a bad sign. Do you want to break free of your past and current limitations? Do you want to break free? Do you really want to break free of your past and current limitations? Because everything that's happening outside, out here, I can't control all that. I can't control all that. I can only control what I do, how I show up, and the conscious steps that I'm taking. Any of our Pro members that are on this call will tell you that I basically said what we were going to do from the middle of March. I basically said, okay, guys, we're going to look after you. We're going to protect our best clients. We're going to focus on the work that's going to pay us right now. And I talked about the 3 boats. I'm going to protect me and my family. We isolated from the second week of March, before the whole country shut down. We moved our team remote 2 weeks before we were supposed to. So we took control of what we could control. I then said that we as an organization were going to stand in service of our customers for the month of April, and we were going to start monetizing and putting the focus back on our business and generating revenues from the 1st of May. I took control. You can take control too. Here's a question. Some of you may have missed this. So wherever you are, in the comments down below, do you want to break free of your current and past limitations? I see a comment here. I'm not going to name this person, so because it would be unfair. up to OmniPro for tax, audit, and accounting series over these difficult weeks. It's interesting stuff, but it's somewhat concerning that I've not heard one thing from my institute. And in 2 years' time, a monitor is going to visit me and bulldoze through a file and ask, how did I deal with COVID? Look, we're more nimble, we're more agile, we're connected, we listen, we hear, we understand. I've spent 17 years working with accountants in every format. We listen, but you know what the difference is? Do you know what the big difference between us is? We actually care about our customers' success. I had a very difficult series of calls with our Profit Pro Thrive members last Friday. So our Profit Pro Thrive members, and I had a series of calls with them, and I'll be honest with you, twice I broke down in tears. Twice I broke down in tears. Once I broke down in tears because the person had made so much progress, and I was so happy for them, I actually broke down in tears. And with another accountant, I broke down in tears because they were finding it really difficult. And it broke my heart to see that they weren't getting the success that they want. Why are we different? Because we care. We care. I want to show you something. Okay, I want to show you something. And you're going to have to bear with me now. This may not be smooth. This may not be smooth because I haven't done something like this before. I don't have JR in the room with me as a support. JR is off, isolated in his own house. So this is something we've never done technologically before. So I know you will be forgiving if it doesn't work out as smoothly as I want it to. Can you see my screen, JR?
Yeah, we can.
Excellent, thank you. Okay. I believe there's going to be a business revolution. Look throughout history. And when people's freedom is curtailed, what does the human race do? They rise. They rebel. I believe there's going to be a revolution. I believe there's going to be a business revolution, and I believe there's going to be an accountant's revolution. And today, I'm essentially going to ask you to join the accountant's revolution. I got a really, really deep and thoughtful email from an accountant who I've known for a long time. And again, I won't name him, but the first time I met this accountant, I knew he was an accountant, and I knew he was an accountant in practice. And my dad and Mihal's dad, so myself and Mihal's dad was getting a hip replacement up in Mount Carmel in Dublin. And lo and behold, who was in the bed next to him? Only this accountant's father. But he sent me an email and he said, Des, I've been watching your videos. I agree with you about the business revolution. I agree with you about the freedom. I agree with you about things are changing. And in a really respectful and deep, thoughtful way, he says, but I don't think it's quite going to be an accountant's revolution. And he went on to explain why he didn't think it was going to be an accountant's revolution. Because see, one of my videos, I've been talking about the evolution of the accountancy profession. And like I went back to, ledgers, manual ledgers, and the article clerk model, and I talked about the female breakthrough into the profession. And I remember when I was down in Waterford, I went to Waterford RTC, I did direct accounting, and we had a lecturer down there. Anybody who's been anybody who went to Waterford and knows this lady, just type Mary in the chat box. Mary Martin was our lecturer. And Mary's claim to fame was she was one of the first female chartered accountants in the country. Oh, Anita knows Mary. And that was her claim to fame. And I was sitting there as an 18, 19-year-old going, isn't that interesting that they wouldn't, women just weren't recognizing the accounting profession until the 60s. And Pascal knows her as well, a legend. Mary is a legend, was a legend. But then I talked about Ron Baker and Paul Dunn, Firm of the Future. Ron Baker and Paul Dunn wrote Firm of the Future in 2003. And I know Paul personally, and he's a hero. And I know Ron now a little bit. I couldn't call him a friend yet, but I can message him and contact him. I'm in a Facebook group with him, actually. They're heroes. The guys wrote Firm of the Future. They were so far ahead of their time that nobody could get it. Nobody could implement it. That's what I believe. They were just so far ahead of their time. And then we talked about, you know, accounting, computerized accounting, online accounting, moving towards the cloud accounting, moving towards the digital firm. But this guy who wrote to me said, Des, to be honest with you, I've moved that digital firm route, and I don't think it's going to be a revolution because that shit is hard. He said, that shit is hard. He said, I'm working harder than ever before. I'm using this app and I'm using that app, and I'm using cloud this and cloud that. And he's saying it's hard. The concept of the digital firm is great. And most people think plugging in technology is going to answer the questions. Technology is a huge enabler. But if you don't have the model to go around it, technology is just making you quicker and not making the money that you want with the freedom and flexibility you want. I've developed a model which I believe can take you from where you are. So whether you're a sole practitioner firm, a multi-partner firm, and long established, small firm, big firm, no matter where your technological capabilities are, through a step-by-step process to get a result. And it was really interesting when that accountant, I'd call him a friend of mine at this stage, I've known him for so long, and known him outside the profession, when he actually proved my point. People, you see, people are sold shit. Let's be honest. We're sold shit all the time. Somebody tells you, oh, buy this app and buy this and put this together and your life is going to be better. You know and I know there's no silver bullets. And somebody described to me once that the Firm of the Future was an incredibly popular book. So many people bought it, but an awful lot of people gave up before they implemented it. And you see, this is where I want to talk about our success path. And I want to talk about the new 6 steps to success. It starts up here with trajectory and business model. And this is something I want to talk to you about right now today. You see, there's some underpinning concepts that I believe are critical to your accounting firm if you want something different. There's this concept of build to sell, the scalable, saleable, automatic business. And I believe every accounting firm should be working off this platform. It's one building block. We develop products and services that have capacity to say it. This isn't, so some of you might look at what you do and say, well, actually, I don't want to provide that service. Maybe I don't want to do audits. Maybe I don't want to do fancy advisory and tax planning. Maybe I don't want to do charities. Maybe I don't want to do property. What are the products and services that you can scale? Who are the customers you want to buy your products and services? Some of you have already put in the chat box. Some of you have already put in the comments that you've got too many clients and you're going to have to ditch the poor clients. Some of them is going to be a self-selection process. It's going to be survival of the fittest because some of your worst clients are not going to make it through. But more of them we're going to have to be conscious. And you see, accountants often say to me, well, I don't have the ideal clients. When did you consciously sit down and take control and say, this is who I want, this is how I want them, this is where I'm going to find them? There's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity. How many of you have trimmed your teams? How many of you have already shed clients? Coronavirus gives us an opportunity to decide who we want to work with, who motivates and inspires us, who do we enjoy, who do we get energy from, who's sucking the energy out of us. Create a positive cash flow cycle. And you see, some of you are already on this model of going down the route of direct debits and having, and getting the payments, the automatic payment model. But an awful lot of accountants are still on a negative cash flow cycle. It's mad. It's just mad. We do all the work and then we raise a bill and then we get paid at some stage. I'm talking to accountants at the moment and they're saying, oh, we got to stick by and serve our clients. And I'm just like, so it worked out for some of them. But go back to the last recession. And I can't remember who was said it at the call. We got through the last one. We're going to get through this one. Learn from the last time. Work with the people that are paying you. Make payment easier. Develop a system to deliver the result. Develop a single focus on growth in a sales process. Have an attraction and retention plan for team. That's the foundation. The next foundation is what I call simplify. And this is modeling some of the most successful businesses in the world. This is what makes Apple great. This is what has created Uber. This is what IKEA did. IKEA simplified their proposition, they simplified their price, and became dominant in their industry. Elements of proposition simplify. 3 steps. Make it easier to access, and multiple parts to this in here. Step 2, make it more useful and more valuable. Step 3, make it more aesthetically pleasing. There is the simplify model. This is countless case studies of some of the most successful businesses in the world. McDonald's, Henry Ford, and Apple, Uber, Netflix. Just pick a household brand. You'll be able to identify how they did this. The accountancy profession needs to take this on. Price simplification. I am not in favor of driving prices to the bottom. I am concerned about where this is going to go. We did a practice benchmarking survey just finished up in January. We're looking at launching this survey to give the whole to show people where the profession was beforehand. But price simplification, this is just about adding more value to your customers. This is about putting your customers at the center and their success at the center of your business. The forever transaction. The forever transaction. You see, part of the problem, I think, for the accountancy profession was the accountancy profession were way ahead in the race. And they were way ahead in the race because the accountancy profession had recurring revenue. They come back every year. So they come back every year. So we can sit down and say, okay, we've got this number of clients. There's our revenues for this year. But I actually think that created complacency. And I think that our greatest strength has become our greatest weakness. We need to go beyond recurring revenue. How many of you are doing fixed pricing? If you're doing fixed pricing, put fixed pricing in the chat box. We need to go beyond fixed pricing. How many of you are collecting in an automatic fashion using direct debits and automatic card payments? This is about going beyond that. This is about going about. PJ, how are you? PJ is my accountant and auditor and my classmate the whole way from Waterford. And PJ put in the comment, good old Mary, she loved days. And she did love days when I turned up though, PJ. I was always a problem student for her. And so the forever transaction here is about going beyond DD, going beyond the subscription revenue model, and creating a relationship for life. What I'm talking about here is I'm talking about a forever transaction that we create a memberized firm. Now, some of you are going, how do we do this? How can we, there's just so many moving parts. Even the amount of shit he's put up on screen already, I'm lost, I'm confused. But this is the point. This is the point. We have the model. We have the model. I was going to release this model in September. I've been working with my Profit Pro members for the last 3 years. I've been working with accountants for almost 17 years. I've had this vision. I've had this passion. I've had this fire inside me that there was a better way. You see, what we're talking about here is it's not just build to sell. It's not just simplify. It's not the forever transaction. It's the customer-centric business. I can't remember who it was made the comment about, I haven't seen my institute in the last month. All I've seen is OmniPro. And this is about what we try and do, which is to deeply and truly understand what you want and need. And I think part of the mistake in all the models that have gone before is people didn't take account of that, yeah, this whole concept of value pricing and the whole concept of the firm of the future and the digital firm, it's all great. But how do we get from where we are with existing clients and customers and moving to the new model? We see lots of people that have they're new clients they can put into models like this. Like, we've got to accept, I'm going to give you the heads up now. Anybody that's offended by people selling should leave, right? Anybody who's offended by people selling, because in a couple of minutes I'm going to sell you something, okay? I'm going to sell you something that I believe is in your best interest. But you see, we've got to accept that you guys, we have clients that we love and cherish that do company formations with us. Thankfully, due to all the work we've done in the last 3 months, that business is recovering and we're picking up new customers, new clients, and accountants who haven't worked with us in that division are saying, guys, based on everything you've done, the least I can do is just form a company with you. But we have customers that we know they'll only form companies with us. We have customers that are with us from a CPD perspective. We have customers who want us from a practice monitoring support. We have customers who are with us from a knowledge hub perspective. We have customers who are with us from a profit pro perspective. But what we're trying to do is to create forever customers. We accept that some people will come in at the lowest level of compliance. And our job is to build a business model that is not about more and more clients. It's about less clients, but with a deeper connection and a higher customer lifetime value. Because if we can bring people into our business in a membership way, and you've seen us do this, you've seen us, many of you here today are members of Knowledge Hub, you're members of CPD Club, you're members of the Accountants Resource Center, you're members of FRS102.com, you're members of Profit Pro. Why I know so much about this is I've spent 17 years trying to make our business model better, and now I'm ready to share it with you. You see, the business of accounting, if you're a firm owner, is it about doing the accounting and bookkeeping? Is that what it's about? Or is it about developing a customer platform? Is it your role to develop a business? And you need to choose. Are you an entrepreneur? Some of you might say, well, you know, I am. Are you an accountant? More of you might say, no, I'm more of an accountant than an entrepreneur. Are you an entrepreneurial accountant? Now, I think that begins to get closer to where more of you are. Again, I go back to Stephen's question earlier. Here's a funny one for you, right? If we ran a technical seminar today on, I don't know, something to do with COVID legislation, and it was free, and we actually tested this, and if we sent out an email this morning saying we're going live at 12 o'clock, right now, because there's so many people consuming our stuff, we would have had 1,000 people on the webinar. We don't have 1,000 because most people look at this and go, it's not for me. The very fact that you're here means this has resonated with you. You're already putting your hand up because you're an entrepreneurial accountant. But here's my next question for you. Are you an accountant who owns a job? Or are you an accountant who owns a business? I'm not going to ask you to comment on this, but I am asking you to write it down. Do you own a job or do you own a business? You see, what we really want to do as firm owners, you need to be an architect that develops a system for getting the result that the customers want. Your real role here, and your real role in the business of accounting, is to develop the platform to connect what they want, what the accountants want, or what the customer wants, and your team and resources. I see here Joe has outsourced. He's non-core business is outsourced. He's cut his team. Right, let's get into this. Let's get into this for a second, okay? So our model starts up here with trajectory and business model. But it's about your who's. So here's a simple question for you. Who are your 5 who's? The concept of who's is, it's not about when you have a problem. It's not about when you have a problem that I've got to solve it. That our first thought process when we have a problem is, well, who can help us solve this? And there's internal who's and external who's. So for example, any of you who come on this journey with me, really use May and June to have a business that thrives, and I know a lot of you want to have a business that thrives, I'd be an external who to you. But your internal who's are your team. And you see, if we just had the right people, we're all only 5 who's away from industry domination. We're all only 5 who's from having everything that we ever needed. Who do you have and who do you need? Who do you need differently, internally and externally? Where are your who's right now? And where are your who's going to be when the new normal returns? How do your who's want to work? This is not just about building a business for you. It's not just about building a business that works for your customers. It's about bringing customers and team together in a system that can get a result, giving you the flexibility, freedom, profitability that you want. Customers. Like, who are your customers? Who are your ideal customers? Who are your not? It's time to get clear about non-negotiables. Like, just what are your non-negotiables? Take out a pen and paper. What are your non-negotiables? What is really pissing you off? What have you had enough of? What are you not going to stand for? Life is too short. Life is too short. Don't waste a good crisis. What is customer success? And you see, what is customer success? We have to accept that you have, depending on your business, I know there's some bigger firms on here with us now. Believe it or not, the bigger firms find it more challenging to adopt and change than the smaller firms. The bigger firms look like they have it all sorted because they've got the advisory services department, they've got the SME department, the audit department, the tax department, but it's hard for them too. You've got to look at your client and say, what does success mean? Let's take a small firm. Let's take a small firm over in Mayo, or a small firm in Kerry, or a small firm in Sunderland, a small firm in Scotland, a small firm in Tyrone, wherever the small firm is. We have to accept in this business model that some people are just being served the way they're being served, and that's all they'll want. Other people will want something different. We've got to develop a model that can serve customers' needs. Now, look at this. Okay, so pay attention here for a second, right? So product, price, and positioning. When it comes to product, you've got to have a customer service success path. This is one of the things that Michal and myself have been developing for the last 2 or 3 years. What does our success path look like? How can we get results? And what we're doing, what we're finding is, as we work with our Profit Pro members, as we work with our top Omni Pro clients, the more we do with them, the more they want to do with us. The more we do, the more we want to have a success path that. So our success path is, well, maybe they're a sole practitioner firm that's not technologically developed. Maybe they're an established sole practitioner firm that does have technology, but they've got a very mixed client base. Maybe they're a larger firm that has embraced technology, is quite forward thinking. They've got lots of technology, but they're still not getting the result that they really want. Then we've got bigger firms. Well, what's their success path? So we've developed a success path to bring people from where they are to where they want to get. And some of our firms, we have to accept, we've got a customer playbook, but some of our firms, we've got to accept all they actually want is the compliance. All they want is the basics and a little bit of TLC. But then there's other people who, if we ask them the right way, they'll want much more. So what's this product stack? Think about this for a second. What if we had 5 levels of product? And level 1 is bookkeeping. The second level is accounting. The third level is management. The fourth level is strategy. And the 5th level is above and beyond. So if we look in here, bookkeeping is the entry point. So purchase and sales ledger, VAT control accounts, payroll, bank reconciliations, creditors. The outputs here is a nominal ledger and trial balance. Either it can be self-done by the customer, where there's a verification, checking, and review, or it can be firm done. And now what we're looking for here at this level is, well, no partner involvement. So from a self-done perspective, you say to them, okay, well, here's our tech stack, and we co-opt the customers into working in the way that we want them. And the firm done methodology is that the customer does what they want, but we have an interface that no matter what they do outside, this is how we do it here. This is how we do it here. And you see, this is about developing a system, a process, that we've got an external system and an internal system. Now, some of you say, oh, we don't do bookkeeping, we're not into that. But the bottom line is every accounts job starts with a trial balance. So trial balances are kind of critical to what we do. So either the firm does the work or the firm checks the work, but one way or the other, you get the same result. That's level one. The second level now we're into accounting. Statutory financial statements, income tax returns, corporation tax returns, COSEC compliance, but choices around partner involvement. Do they deal with a customer liaison, or do they want the extra expertise and speciality? The third level is management accounts, analysis and KPIs. Think back to our simplify model. I know I'm covering a lot of ground here, but time is of value. What if we set up a model leveraging technology to get the result that the customer wants? They don't really care whether it's zero. They don't care they don't care how you get there. They just want the result. But now, do you see here, we've got upgrade options. We're giving them choices. And some of your customers will come in here at level one. They'll come in at level one and get their bookkeeping. They'll come in at the entry point, they'll get their accounting. Some will go no further. But some will want to opt in for more. And some will want to opt in, like just in terms of the basics here, right? How many businesses now are going to value cash flows and projections? How many businesses would wish their accountant had done basic business and personal budgeting with them? So there's fundamental stuff that you guys just eat in your sleep. I just love working with accountants, and I love the contrast between accountants and non-accountants. I'm a real accountant. I've got a calculator on my desk. When I look at figures, I see things differently to non-accountants. So do you. You see, technology is core in all of this, but technology doesn't actually get the result. You've got to have this membership, customer-centric focus model behind it that allows us to do it. The fourth level strategy, the fifth level strategy. Like your fifth level strategy. So big firms have bigger internal capabilities, and you need to decide, well, do I do it internally? Do I do it externally? What works for me? Some of the biggest stress and the biggest trouble we have seen accountants, biggest trouble we've seen accountants get over the years is doing things that was beyond their capacity. I just have a question in here from Ray. A side question. I like the diagram you're using, in particular the way you can expand and reduce it on the screen. Ray, I'm a mind mapper. So I've always done manual mind maps. Now I've graduated years ago to electronic mind maps. I primarily work on Mac, but this is iThoughts. There's lots of mind map apps out there, depending on whether you're a Mac or a Microsoft user. I just love them, Ray. I think, I plan, I do everything by mind maps. Okay, I've been talking for a long time now. Mihal has said, Jesus, take a breath there, you're killing us. And I just want to check in with you. So in the chat box, in the comments below, do you agree with what I'm saying here? Now, I'm not expecting you all to agree with everything that I'm saying, but do you agree? Oh, hold on here now. I better stop sharing my screen so that this comes up. Bear with me 1 second. So can everybody see me now again, JR?
Yep.
Okay, so do you agree with what I'm saying? Now, I don't expect you all to agree with what I'm saying, because I'm saying a lot of shit here that's different. And I know I'm different. And I know what I say is different. But this is my point about change. And this is my point about a revolution. I don't expect you to agree with everything I'm saying. Do you know what? I don't even expect to be right on this. Not on all of it. But what I do know is I'm looking at our Profit Pro firms, and I am looking at the progress they are making. And I am looking at the results that they are getting. And I am looking at the performance and the transformation that they have. And one of our firms, you know, they're coming into this, they've got 100,000 in the bank. They've applied the model and the system over the last year or two, and they're coming into this stronger, going out of this stronger. It was a reasonably small firm. 2 years ago, they didn't have 100,000 in the bank. Now they do. Kevin is saying, yeah, to be honest, it's Carol here. I agree, selling everything to the end user, especially manual clients, will take a bit of work. Yeah, I'm not in any way underestimating that this is going to take commitment. This is going to take commitment. This is going to take effort. We have a pricing model. Essentially, the pricing model is you have a service stack that maps into your pricing. How do you price now? Do you do retrospective based on timesheets? Do you do fixed pricing, menu pricing, value pricing? And how do insurance companies price? Well, we've got a pricing model here that is taking the same concept as insurance companies and working out, okay, how do we price? So for example, we've got a model here where we're working, okay, we've got 50 clients, the average fee is this, the total income is this, my direct costs are this, the total overhead is this, here's the infrastructure overhead, here's my profit. Some clients are going to consume more resources. That's where the insurance company model comes in. Some are going to consume less resources. We get this model working for 50 clients. We get this model working for 10 clients. And then you scale it. Then you scale it. So Carol, yeah, this isn't going to happen overnight. This is not a click and it just works. But this is a model of progress. And if you agree with what I'm saying, if you can resonate at all with what I'm saying, and I know some of you are tired and some of you just, my passion and enthusiasm could be bothering some of you, okay? My passion and enthusiasm could be bothering you because you're just going, oh, fuck, just stop, Des, you're just driving me around the twist. If I'm driving you around the twist, that's you saying in your heart and soul, I need to change. Sole practitioner firms, even multi-partner firms, this is isolating. That's why we've created the Profit Pro community. It's working with people who are going through the same process, the same path as you. Community as we know it has changed. The community that's outside my window is different. I'm an avid sports person. I'm involved in the community. I can't go out there right now. We're all missing community. Do you know the benefit of community? And I believe the Profit Pro, our Profit Pro members, they're going beyond community at this stage. Now they're almost like family. Imagine having a family around you who, when you're feeling down or when you don't think you can do it, that they'll pick you up. Quick win growth, automation and systemization, the second layer of the success path. We have the whole model mapped out. Here's here's the implementation plan, okay? So the implementation plan is 10 steps to success. So what we're doing is, okay, where are you now? What do you want it to look like? What's the gap? How do we close the gap? What are the priorities? So what we're doing now is we're creating this entry model where everybody does a stock take. Here's where I am. And we work through the system. All of you will come. This is the whole point of a success path. You've all got different firms, big, small, new, old, technology, not technology, pricing. It's all different. We help you identify where your gaps are and identify the priorities. And you see, here's one of the biggest blocks for me. The biggest blocks for me is existing customers, good enough, and time. Good enough and time. I'm just after spotting that I never put back up my mind map, but that's okay. I have everything I've said for the last 5 minutes, everything that I've said for the last 5 minutes. It's in the system. It's in the model. I have a question for you. So back into your chat box. Don't be offended. I won't be offended by your answer. But I actually want you to think about this. Do I look like somebody that you can trust? Do I look like somebody that's believable? Do I look like somebody that you can get? Our business isn't perfect, but over the last number of years, for those of you who know us, have I said things in the past that were right? Have I helped you solve a problem? Why am I so passionate about this? Because I'm on the verge of helping you solve the biggest problem that you could ever have. But you're going to need to trust me. Thank you so much for the people that have said trust. Thank you. Yeah, I trust you a hell of a lot more than the institutes. Yeah, I'm honest. Oh, Carol, yeah, your daughter just popped in and said that man again. Folks, I don't care. I don't care about what you think of me. I really don't. But why I'm asking you, do you trust me, is because if you trust me, do you trust me enough to come on a journey with me? I'm going to share screen here, JR, so things have gone sideways on this end, so you'll have to tell me if I'm sharing the right stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to go to slideshow here. Okay, that's probably not right. Okay, I'm going to go for a quick fix here now, JR. Okay, I'm going to go low tech. It's not going to be a presentation, but you're going to see the slides. So can you see that slide, JR?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, we have our existing Profit Pro members, and I had said to them all along, you know, we're going to do something differently, and we waited for the first wave to land and the second wave to land, and basically now was the time to start working on the business. Now is the time to start making the change. As the lockdown begins to open up, as the country begins to open up in the coming months, now is the time to make the change. And I was going to bring our Profit Pro members through this brand new model. And you know what I said? Obviously, I value our existing members and existing customers. And I said, if I'm going to put in all this time, effort, and energy, and I'm going to roll out this new model, and we're going to co-create something different in May, I want to honor my existing customers, but what could be better than having 30, 40 accountants go through this process than having 80? And because we can split the groups, but if we get feedback, imagine having more people contributing to the model. So we're kicking off tomorrow, and we're kicking off at 2:00. And we've got a phase 1 and May intensive. We've scheduled out calls. I'm going to bring you through the model. I'm going to bring you through the process. And you're going to input. It's not going to be just me talking. It's going to be us as a community building a model that works. And building a model that works. And so we have May mapped out. But then phase 2. So this is a membership model. This is 10 months. We're going to go through an implementation phase. And then for 10 months, we're going to go deeper at getting it done, tangible progress, monthly sprints. So we've totally redesigned totally redesigned our business model and how we're going to serve people. And in coming on the journey with us, I believe that it's going to help you find ways to not only make your business more profitable, not only to implement the model, but give you ways to work with your customers. Grania, you've said to me that I'm clashing with the tax CPD. Unfortunately, I am clashing with the tax CPD, but here's my suggestion, Grania. As a CPD Club Plus member, you can get the recording. So no offense to the guys on tax, but come with me at 2 o'clock tomorrow, because that's when we're kicking off. What you're also going to get is we put in 3 bonuses. We've got a mastermind day to help us implement the model. We've got Profit Pro Live, which is a 3-day multi-speaker event. Profit Pro Live is going to be something special, folks. We're cooking up something here that's going to land in June, and it's going to be different. It's going to be different. And the most part of what you're getting here is a community of accountants to accompany you on your journey. Some of them are here on the call with us today. So what you're going to get here is you're going to get the Accountants Growth Formula Program, an Accountants Mastermind Day, Profit Pro Live. Now, a number of people have said to me that the biggest problem with this program is I'm not practicing what I preach because the price should be much more. And just to give you an account, right? So the value of the program here for in euro or in sterling, and you got to sign up today. You got to sign up now. JR, can you just put up the links to the sales page? So JR is going to put up a UK link and he's going to put up an Irish link if you want to join. But you see, here's the point. For me, this is about starting a movement. For me, this is about starting a revolution. And I do not want price to be an obstacle. 3,844. I did, between Thursday and Friday last week, calls with SME firms, small firms. I estimated that I generated way in excess of 100,000 of extra revenues in just 2 days. Like some of the stuff we're going to do quick cash, it's like literally, here's the thing, right? If you don't get the value of your money back in the month of May, not to talk for the whole year, I'd eat my hat. And you see, here's the thing. We're not even looking for you to pay the full amount. Now, we do have a full amount, a full payment. So if you want to pay single pay, but you can go monthly. And I could do a whole thing on risk reversal here with you and price guarantees and a whole lot of stuff. But there's no point in me actually doing that because this is such a no-brainer. Like in a worst case scenario, you pay your 247 or your 197 now. If at the end of May, if you don't think I've delivered value, I would be shocked if you don't think I've delivered value. But if I haven't delivered value, stop the DD. Stop the DD. Now, I'm going to say something strange here now. I think some of you should pay the full price. I think some of you should pay the full price and pay it up front. Not from a cash flow perspective for me, but actually for yourselves. Because the people who commit here and the people who go all in and say, I'm all in and commit and cut off all failure and they commit to 2250 and they commit to changing their business and they commit. Increased commitment can accelerate your results. So JR has put the links up. We're closing this evening. We're kicking off tomorrow. This is going to be big. And what you're really going to get, it's about profits, it's about customers, it's about models, it's about systems, it's about reducing stress, it's about getting unstuck. It's about, I asked you earlier, did you trust me? I'm sorry, I keep my face is over here, so I keep looking away from the camera because I'm presenting off this screen. I asked you, do you trust me? I believe in my heart and soul that this model can work for anyone. And if you trust in me and you make a commitment, we will look back in 12 months' time and you will be saying, I'm glad I went in that webinar with Des. I'm glad I went in that live stream. And I'm glad I signed up because it has changed my life. Some of our existing Profit Pro members, they are the conversations. They are the conversations that we're having. They're the conversations. Money back guarantee. Any of you who decide to go all in with the 2250, and we put it aside, we put it into account, we don't touch it, and we wait until the 30th of June. If you're not happy, if you follow the process, at least showing up, and you're not getting the value out of it, we refund your money. And if you go the monthly option, and it is a 12-month commitment, because that's what I find. You're not going to get results overnight. If this was easy, if it was a silver bullet, everybody would be doing it. This is a process. Yeah, we're going to get massive action in the first 100 days. We're going to get massive progress. Return on investment, begin changing your life. But if you're not happy, just stop the DD. Just stop the DD. So we're up to 1:15. I don't have much else to say, but you have a choice now. You have a choice. You can take on board what I've just covered in this session, and you can say, yeah, I agreed with Des on a lot of things. I disagree with him on some things. What he's talking about sounds good, but maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's not for me because Des is giving me an option to go down this path. And maybe I'm just going to stay on the path I'm on. Or maybe you're saying, well, I'm going to go on this path and I'm going to try to do it myself. Come on this path with me, and it's about getting you there further, faster, easier. The membership price that I have put up in terms of the monthly subscription, the membership price I have put up is a single member option. For our month of May sprint, we are going to allow you to invite team members. And we are going to allow you to invite team members because I believe that the team should implement this. We do also have a discounted partner option. So if you're a multi-partner firm, you can get a multi-partner sign up. I do believe, that in a multi-partner firm, that sometimes it's the hardest part is getting your partner to understand what you're talking about. So in multi-partner firms, there's exponential opportunity. It's worthwhile having your own access. Like, so, it's like Michal and myself have some memberships, and like I'm the member, and of course he can benefit from it, but you can't beat Michal being able to come in, be himself, access when he wants, have his own login. So yeah, there is multi-member access, but you have a choice right now. You can continue down the path you're on. You can take the value out of today's session, and I hope I've given value, and try and apply it. Or you can come with me, come with us, and come with the other Profit Pro members. We've already had a number of firms, even before this session, they just saw our videos and said, Des, whatever you're doing, I am in. And somebody said to me, Des, it feels like you're starting a movement. I never thought about it that way. I know why I talked about revolution was because the freedom piece. I'm looking at the industrial revolution. We've had 4 industrial revolutions. After this recession, I believe we're going to have the 5th industrial revolution. I looked at the technological revolution. So I used the word revolution, but I didn't look on it as starting a movement. And an accountant contacted me last night. They says, Des, it feels like you're starting a movement here. Where are you going with it? I don't know where it's going to end up. I know where we're going in May. I know where we're going in June because I've mapped it out. I know what our model is. But the one thing I know is I invest blood, sweat, and tears in this. So this is going to continue to innovate and develop. The movement is going one way. The movement is going better business for accountants, more freedom for accountants, better business for business owners. The movement is moving in the direction of progress. And yes, I do believe that this is a revolution. It's a revolution for those accountants who want to stand up, take action. And I have one last question for you. We are on the cusp of a business revolution do you want in? Do you want in? If you want in, if you're in the Prof Pro Accountants Facebook group, if you have questions, I'm conscious of the time, folks. There's lots of questions. There's lots of questions coming in here. I don't want to run over. Yes, Natalie, you're already in. Absolutely. Michael, great. Yes, you're in. Stephen, yes. Ray, yes. I really appreciate it. Look, I want to get you out. I'll talk to the guys. To see. There's lots of questions. I know time is short. Email us. Email des@theprofitpro.com. Email. Look, basically, if you're here, you've already got emails from us. If you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you are, leave a comment. One of the team will get in touch. If you have questions, maybe what I'll do is put together a short Q&A and put it out this afternoon. But the whole thing here is decide and commit. Choose to take control. Choose better. Folks, we're in this together. Let's do it. Let's just do it for once and for all. Let's just do it. Join the revolution.